Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is our master class in school business and administration, and we continue with these very powerful and insightful topics. We have seen major challenges that school owners go through in school business, and we're going to continue in the same vein now. We want to look at the number 4 challenge that school owners and school administrators face in this business, and that is the challenge of teachers' productivity and retention in a highly unregulated industry. You all know and you all agree with me that this industry is highly unregulated. As in, schools spring up today, spring up tomorrow, teachers work in, teachers work out. It is very, very unregulated, and that brings a very serious issue on how do you keep tab on your teachers. The school owners and school administrators face 2 major challenges. That is, how do I keep these teachers productive, knowing fully well that without them, there will be no standard in the school. Number 2, how do I retain them for a fairly period of time so that they could have impactful stay before going to another school. And we're going to be looking at 6 ideas to overcome this major challenge. The challenge of teachers' productivity, the challenge of teachers' retention. But we are going to dwell more on teachers' productivity, getting teachers to be productive. So that even if a teacher will spend only 1 session, let us be sure that with the system in place and with the ideas that we are gaining from this paper, the teacher is able to give his best. Our keyword for this session is performance-driven motivation. I have had it over and over again. I was in a particular school some times ago, and I was asking them, what do you think we can do to boost teachers' productivity and to boost teachers' retention? And almost all of them are unanimous by saying it is by motivation. And I had to correct that. It is not just motivation. It is performance-driven motivation. That's the difference between a private sector-led economy and public sector-led economy. In private sector-driven organizations, it is not just motivation. The motivation must be performance-driven. So all we're going to be discussing in this paper will be focused on performance-driven. It has to be performance-driven. Every motivation given to new teachers, every motivation given to newly recruited teachers, every motivation given to the old teachers, every motivation given to the existing teachers, the competent teachers, the passionate teachers will all be tied around their performance. We will be looking at 6 ideas, like I've said. Number 1 is training. Expose the teachers to training. There are no 2 ways about it. While we appreciate what is going on in our colleges of education and faculties of education, the truth of the matter is what our teachers received in colleges and faculties of education is not enough to drive education of the 21st century. There is a world of difference between classroom training and on-the-job training. Unfortunately, since many of our teachers left school and they wrote their last examination and they closed their books like this, many of them have not gone through any other training on pedagogy, on education, and that's a very serious issue. So, to boost teachers' productivity, number 1 thing is subject them to training. We're going to be making a lot of mistakes if we don't train our teachers. There are no 2 ways about it. There can be no productivity from anywhere. A proprietor called me some months ago and he said, "Doctor, please come around, I'm having serious issue." I got to his school and I said, with what I'm seeing here, you cannot be having issue. This school has one of the biggest buildings I've seen. I mean, heavy structures, right from the gatehouse. You will be amazed. Up to the classrooms, and from there took me to the hostel, and the hostel is equally gigantic. It was like buying a whole street. But he told me things are not working. Students are not passing. Internal exams, they are not passing. External examinations, they are not passing. And he's becoming really, really frustrated. And that is when I told him, you see, we concentrate more on physical resources in this part of the world. And we do not do much on human resources. Whereas it is the human resources that will drive the physical resources at the end of the day. Some schools have less gigantic structures, but they have invested so much qualitative human resources. They have invested so much in capacity building. They have invested so much in training, such that the student that pass through the school, they can beat their chest for them anywhere in the world. And that is what should be our concern. So if you want to, when was the last time you trained your teachers? As in really, really training them. If you want to train them, what are you going to train them on? Number one is, we have core training, we have non-supportive training. Let's talk about core training. You need to train them on one, pedagogical training. That is training on teaching methodologies. Many of them know what to teach, but they do not know how to teach. And the mistake we make is when we interview these teachers, we are looking for the teachers that are first class in international relations. We are looking for teachers that are first class in mechanical engineering so that it can help us to teach physics and mathematics. We're looking for a teacher that has first class in mass communication so that it can help us to teach English language and literature. It doesn't work that way. A teacher may have first class in English language and may not be able to produce students who will pass English language. So, it is one thing for the teacher to know what to teach. It's another thing for him to know how to teach. You see another teacher who has second class upper, you see another teacher who has C4 in mathematics and can produce students that will be having A1 in mathematics, because the little he knows in what to teach, he combines it with superlative knowledge of how to teach. So when you want to train your teachers, concentrate on pedagogy, concentrate on teaching methodologies. In our training kit, we have 20 teaching methodologies that are 21st century compliant. We start from simplification, and then we go to gamification, then we go to dramatization, then we go to improvisation, then we go to demonstration, and we have 20 of them. Your teachers must go through the training. It is very important. That reminds me of something that happened some times ago. That should be about 10 years ago, when a proprietor called us and said, we're in suburb area, countryside, it's a village, we don't have access to teachers. All the teaching, no teacher wants to go to the village. And this man has erected massive structure in the place. And he said he wants to give the students in that community the best that they can get in the cities. So we sat down and we look at it. And we look at the chances. Many of the teachers there, they have left. They have left for greener pasture. You can't blame them. And I told him, you know what we're going to do? We're going to work with school cert holders. We're going to work with ND holders. Because all the graduates, they will spend 1 term, 2 academic terms, and pronto, they are going to meet their uncle or their cousin somewhere in Lagos, Port Harcourt, or Abuja. So we sat down with school cert holders, ND holders. I think we have few NCE holders, and we started a training regime. That training regime covers everything I'm talking about training in this paper. And after the training, we started following them up. Within a session, those teachers became transformed. Now, what we said is, all of you, further your education. The school is going to pay half of your school fees in any tertiary institution you want to go, on the condition that you are going to do it on part-time basis. So all the teachers, they jump at it. So we know we're able to retain those teachers for a minimum of 4-5 years. And 5 years is a good time to have a teacher in your system. And that is how all of them started picking their part-time forms in different universities and all of that. They were trained in pedagogy. There is no single teacher in that school that cannot deliver when it comes to teaching methodologies. And the proprietor became really, really amazed. Number 2 is curriculum training. We train all of them on curriculum management, curriculum interpretation, curriculum presentation, and it is excellent. Up till now, I'm still in touch with the school, and even the representatives of the school, they are in this master class. All those teachers, all of them are potential curriculum managers as I'm talking. They know in and out of interpreting curriculum. That's number 2. Number 3, needle point training. Now, needlepoint training has to do with looking for the specific exam you are preparing the students for, and begin to train them on those towards passing that particular exam. This is how it works. If you're preparing the students for common entrance examination, you train them specifically on how to pass common entrance examination. There's a special training for that. There's a special training on how to pass Becker. There is a special training on how to pass WAEC in different subjects. And so the teachers in that school, they were exposed to that training. It took time, but that is the way one can get productivity from the teachers. So they were all trained, the English language teachers, mathematics teachers, science teachers, arts teachers, and their commercial teachers, on how students can pass their subjects in external examinations, specifically on that. That's why we call it needlepoint training. That's number 3 type of training that all teachers should be exposed to. So these teachers were exposed to this training, despite the fact that they were school start holders, ND holders, NCE holders, and I think few, maybe 1 or 2 graduates among them. And then number 4, they were exposed to subject-based training. Now, there is a little difference between subject-based training and needlepoint training, though they are closely related. The needlepoint training is preparing the students in those subjects for a particular external examination, whereas subject-based training is preparing the teachers for subject they are teaching on general basis. So if you are teaching biology, for instance, you look at the curriculum and then the teachers go for training. It is intensive and extensive, but without it, great teachers are never made. So that is number 4. Is contemporary training, and that is the training that we have today on technology-driven training, education. Training on technology-driven education, training on digital education, training on online education, training on robotics education, flipped classrooms, everything that has to do with contemporary best practices in education. Subject your teachers to the training as well, so that as they are training the students for 21st century relevance, they themselves will not be left behind. You know why? Many of the teachers are trained in 28th century classrooms by 28th century teachers, using 28th century books with 20th century methods. Now they are being made to be training students who are going for 21st century relevance. It's a whole lot of difference. There is a disconnect. And to remove that disconnect, then the teachers have to be trained on the contemporary education, contemporary practices in education. Like I have said, digital education, online education, technology-driven education, robotics education. They should have an idea of what all these are about. STEM education, they should have an idea about augmented reality, virtual reality, and so on and so forth. So this is number 5 training that the teachers should be exposed to. And then we have general training. General training that cuts across all spheres of education. So you train them on special needs education, in case there are some students that need that. You train them on Montessori education. You train them on guidance and counseling education. You train them in pre-primary education. You train them on early childhood education. You train them on primary education, and so on and so forth. Now, I know some of you will be asking, where can we get all of this training, and how possible it is to be able to get all of this training? That is why we came up with CTTC, Complete Teacher Training and Certification Program. It's one of the most holistic on-the-job training packages for teachers in African continent. It is an online program. You can make more inquiry from the phone number on the screen. There are 45 courses, and the 45 courses capture all of these areas. So you will get your pedagogical training there, you get your curriculum training there, you get your needlepoint training there, you get your subject-based training there, you get your contemporary training there, you get your vision-based training there, you get your general training there. These are the core training programs that you should expose your teachers to. It is not possible for you to expose your teachers to all of these and they will not perform and they will not be productive. So the school that I was making reference to, even though it is in the suburb, even though it is in the village, even though it is for teachers that are not so well certificated, they were made to go through all of these types of training. And the last one is support training, and that is what they need to know about other aspects of education that are rendered by support services. All of this should be done. That is number one. To make your teachers productive, train them. Now, the slogan is, you can't blame them if you don't train them. Many of us will blame our teachers. They don't handle the school records very well. They don't handle the children very well. They are not good in child psychology. You cannot blame them if you have not trained them. You train them on what to teach. You train them on how to teach. You train them on who to teach. After you have done it, I've taken more time on training, because you cannot talk of teachers' productivity without talking about teacher training. After training, what's the next thing to do? Assessment. And what do you assess? Assess their teaching. Assess the way they teach in the classroom. Assess the introduction of their lessons. Assess their entry behaviors. Assess their instructional materials and teaching aids. Assess their use of questions. Assess their evaluation strategies. Assess their classroom management techniques. Assess their teacher-pupil relationship. Assess their summary of the lesson. Assess their time management. Assess their communication skills. Make sure that you enter into the classroom with them and see how they teach. Like I used to say, many of the proprietors and school administrators are what I call armchair administrators. We have gone to a place many years ago where a teacher was saying a child whose parents have died is called an organ. And the students were surprised. Even some of the students are saying often, she went to a note, it was organ she wrote, and it was organ she wrote on the board. So it can be that bad. So before you say, do you know what is going on in the classroom? So this school that I was talking about, though it was in the village and they don't have the best of the teachers in quote when they first started, as we were doing the training, we were going for assessment at least twice every term in those days. And by that time, I had all the time to be going for training. And so we were there, assess their teaching. And after the teaching, write the report on them, their strong areas, their weak areas. We score them, we submit to the proprietor. Number two, assess their records. In those days, I can remember how teachers would be running helter-skelter once they discover that our team is around, and they are quickly dotting their I's and crossing their T's. Some of them will be filling the attendance register at the same time we are entering in. But then, check their attendance register, check their pupils' notebooks especially, check their lesson notes, check their diary, and check the compliance and correlation between scheme of work and the lesson plan and the lesson notes and the lesson delivery and the student's notebook, and then the records that they filled in the diary. All these are very important. What else do you assess? You assess their attributes. You assess their attributes: punctuality, friendliness with the students, submission to leadership, good memory of our students' names, empathy, enthusiasm, positive energy, teamwork. All these you also assess. So when we're talking of assessment, it's a holistic assignment that gives you the real form of the teacher. There is no teacher that cannot operate at his highest level if we know what to do. What to do is, number one, train them, and number two, assess them. What again do you assess? You assess the student performance. How are the students doing in the subject of each of those teachers? Or how are the students performing in the classroom of each of those teachers? You assess that as well. And one thing we have done is, we have come up with 3 major assessment forms for all of you going through this master class, we have the teacher's performance assessment form, we have the teacher's records assessment form, we have the teacher's attribute assessment form. In the teacher's performance assessment form, that form is to assess their classroom teaching. There are 20 items you are looking out for there. And in the records, there are 10 records that you are looking out for. And in the attributes, there are 20 attributes you are looking out for, making 50 items altogether. I have dropped these forms on the WhatsApp group. So if you don't belong to the WhatsApp group yet, you can request for the link from the number on the screen so that you can also have those forms. You can adapt those forms to suit your own peculiarity, and then you start the process of assessment. After doing all of this, you now decide with your management team how the frequency with which you want to be carrying out this assessment exercise. Do you want to be doing it on timely basis? Do you want to be doing it on monthly basis? Now, if it is on monthly basis, O&O will be doing it. Do you want to outsource it to consultants, or you want to raise a team internally to be doing it? Now, during the you can just send your questions, and then we will be responding to your questions. Now, after all of that, you now go to number 5. I said number 1 is the teaching assessment. Number 2 is record assessment. Number 3 is attribute assessment. Number 4 is student performance assessment. You now go to number 5. That is cumulative point assessment. What do you mean by cumulative point assessment? CPA. You will now total everything is over 100. So what does teacher A score under teaching assessment? Maybe 70 over 100. Under records, 80 over 100, that's 150. Under attributes, 50 over 100. So everything is 200 over 300. That's the cumulative. That is for month of May. Month of June, we carry out the assessment again. Is scored 200 again. And then month of July, which is the last month, is scored maybe 300. So in total now, he has 700 over 900. That's cumulative. Where this is being done professionally and fairly, all the teachers know what their CPA is. So you will even see them in the staff room. They'll be saying, what's your point now? And someone is saying, I'm already on 250. You'll say, you are trying. What's your own point? You say, I'm already on 260. Another one is saying I'm on 196. My marks, actually, my points actually went down because of my use of instructional materials and all of that. So your promotion is now based on the CPA, cumulative point assessment. This is what every school that is ready to boost productivity of teachers, this is what they do. And the question I ask is, 1, when last did you train your teachers? How intensive was the training? Did the training capture all of these categories of training that I mentioned? When last did you assess your teachers? And the assessment you carried out, did it touch these 4 major areas? How regularly do you do it? Have you adopted cumulative point approach? So what is the basis for increasing the salary of the teachers? This, you will see, will come out more handy. And so this school that I talked about, the teachers' performance increased, their productivity increased, the students started passing, and other schools were wondering, but the teachers are just school sats, they are just ND holders. But this is what really happened. Before 4 years, 5 years, that the teachers are in that school and they are still doing their part-time studies, oh my, the standard of the school has increased so much that parents are running over themselves to bring children to the school. And the school has grown so much. In fact, they have a branch outside Nigeria now, in one of the West African countries, which I go regularly because I'm still in very good touch with the proprietor. We experimented this with them, and we discover that there is no teacher that cannot be productive if they are well trained and they are well assessed. I always say that teachers are like elastic rubbers. The full length of elastic rubber cannot be established until you stretch. The problem with many of us, why we have the challenge of teachers' productivity, is because we are not stretching our elastic rubbers. So we leave them at the form they are. no training, no assessment, nothing to stretch them, and so their productivity is limited. Do you know that the same teacher that is operating at 60% optimum performance in your school, when you get to another school, will be operating at 90% optimum performance because of these ideas we are talking about? So what can make the teachers to operate at that optimum performance, regardless of their educational qualifications, regardless of their background? So number 3 is target. Set target for the teachers. Do you know why most of these other private institutions perform better than public institutions? Is because most times the staff are always on target. In banking industry, for instance, if you gain employment the same day with the same qualification, same years of experience, everything is the same, your promotion is not guaranteed to be the same, because it is a function of, are you meeting the target set for you? But many of us in our schools, we operate as if we are in civil service. So the teachers are there, no intensive training, no extensive training, no assessment, no target. They just come in, walk into the classroom, teach, come back, prepare question papers, prepare exam questions, and prepare report sheets, and that is all. So you are not getting their best. Set targets for them. On timely basis, let it be student performance target. So every term, as they resume school, the first week or a week before resumption, you announce their target to them. For chemistry teacher, we are expecting you have 20 students in your class. We're expecting 14 distinctions. At least 14 students should have distinctions. Could be A1, could be B2, could be B3, but we expect 14 students to have distinctions. You can break it down further. Out of these 14 students that must have distinction, at least 8 should have A1, and 4 should have B2, 2 should have B3. This is setting target, and the remaining ones should have credit, and so on and so forth. So set target for primary school teachers based on the student performance that you're expecting. But the target is not what you impose on them. It should be done by HODs of different departments, and the teachers should also be carried along, knowing fully well the levels of the students. Then you set the target. When teachers have target, they put in more effort to achieve their target, and then on monthly basis give them the basic records target. That I expect that these records, all the student notebook must be completely marked, completely checked before the end of every month. So they have that target, and that will put them on their toe. Again, we have the weekly target, which is the diary target. That is the number of periods to be taught. If you don't, the general slogan is, when the goalposts are down, the game is over. If you don't have something that you are running after, or something that is running after you, you are likely to be flat-footed, and achieving success in life is going to be very, very slow. And that is why you need to do this. And this is what we did for the teachers in that school. We gave all of them targets after the training, and they are working. And we are increasing the target, until almost all the students in the class we are giving them target of them achieving distinction. These things are real. These things are possible. Number 4, preview. Now, you do teaching preview for your teachers. And how do we do teaching preview? A week before assumption, you let them have workshop. There is difference between seminar and workshop. What majority of us have been doing for our teachers have been seminars upon seminars. We have not actually been doing workshops. Which one is better? No one is better. Neither is better, rather. The two of them are okay, but you must know how to professionally engage the two approaches. You conduct training seminars. After the training seminar, they now go into workshops. Preview is a workshop, and it should take place for at least 3 to 4 days before resumption. How do you preview? We have timely preview and we have weekly preview. Don't forget, this program is all about generating ideas. So the idea of preview is a week before resumption, we break into departments: science department, art department, commercial department, language department, mathematics department, and then we now say that, how many topics are you teaching this term? And the economics teacher says, I'll be teaching demand. I'll be teaching supply. I'll be teaching law of diminishing marginal utility. I'll be teaching money. And then that is all I'll be teaching this week. But some of them I will take them for two. I'll be teaching elasticity of demand, making 5. But some of them I will take for 2 weeks. He said, fine. Now, come and introduce the lesson. How are you going to introduce elasticity of demand? Week 1. How are you going to introduce money in week 2? What instructional materials are you going to use? And what will be your entry behavior? What will be the methodology? Teach that topic for 3 minutes. That's preview. Christians do that a lot. They call it Sunday school preview. Before they go on Sunday, on Saturdays, they will come together to preview what they want to do. But this is actually a professional concept. So all the teachers will do it 3 minutes. And as he finishes teaching elasticity of demand for 3 to 4 minutes, all the teachers will criticize. And we say, oh, you could have used this. You could have also used elastic rubber. You could have done this. You could have done that. And then it will be taking note. By the time they are done, everybody now knows that when teaching elasticity of demand, this is how it's going to introduce the lesson. This is the instructional material it's going to use. And this is how it's going to present the lesson. So we do it for all the subjects, for all the topics that we are teaching for the term, and we keep record of them. Now, it has a lot of advantages. Number 1, the teacher is prepared for the term. When I ask many proprietors, what are you doing for a whole term? Say, we are preparing for resumption. What exactly is this preparation you are doing? When you bring in preview, the teacher knows that it's actually prepared. Number 2, it uniformizes standard. Many a times, many of our schools will depend on 1, 2, 3, 4 spectacular teachers. And the other ones are on the average, where we have 2 or 3 that are even below average. And we now use those very good teachers to be challenging others. But it should be much more than that. When you do preview, everybody is on the page of knowing how to teach. Because as those who are in languages are saying, I want to teach preposition. How do you want to do it? Average teacher is giving his opinion. Above average teacher is saying, no, when you want to teach preposition, use this, use this, use this. So it's rubbing off. Horizontal counseling, horizontal mentoring is taking place. While you are doing vertical mentoring, you are using the good teachers among them to be doing horizontal mentoring. Before you say jack, within a term, 2 terms, 3 terms, all the teachers in the school are almost on the same uniform plane of standard. And it has great advantage. Number 3 is it takes care of lacuna of absence of a teacher, because we are all together in mathematics department and we know that this teacher says he's going to teach longitude and latitude. This is what we all agree should use. If it's not around by week 5 when he's supposed to be teaching longitude and latitude, another teacher can step in and there will be no disruption because we already know what to do. So teaching preview is a must if we really want to boost teachers' productivity. We tried it in the school that I am using as case study and it worked like magic. And then we have the weekly preview. Weekly preview takes place every Friday. So you now say, what topic do you want to teach next week? We say it's so topic. You say, fine, come and preview it and let us see. Number 5 idea is language clinic. I know many of us have phonetics teachers and diction teachers who comes to school maybe once a week or twice a week, or we even employ them to be teaching our students on how to speak phonics and diction. But I want to challenge you today, that does not bring full result, because the students don't speak after their random diction teachers, they don't speak after their random phonics teachers, they speak after their regular teachers in the classroom. That is why it is good you expose all your teachers to the basics and fundamentals of phonics and diction. How do we do that? Number 1, have grammar clinic, then have phonics clinic. The 2 of them will take place the same day. You don't need more than 30 minutes to do this. More than 30 minutes. Gather all the teachers together and maybe on a Friday, and then you ask them 5 issues, only 5. Your English language teacher can coordinate that. It is high time we go. No, that is wrong. You don't say it is high time we go, you say it is high time we went. So the teachers note that. Common errors in English language. You don't say, okay, divide the orange between the three of them. You say, no, that is wrong. You say, divide the orange among the three of them. The three of them are talking to each other. You say, that is wrong. It should be the three of them are talking to one another. 5, don't make it more than 5. Once you are done with 5 and you explain the reason, that is all for that week. Then you go into phonics. So don't say listen, say listen. Let that T be silent. Don't say plumber, say plumber, because that B should not be pronounced. Don't say debtor, say debtor. And you give them 5. You see, if you do that every week, in 10 weeks in a term, you will have corrected them on 50 common errors in grammar, 50 common errors in phonetics. Do it for one session. Each teacher in your school has mastered 150 correct ways in grammar, correct ways in phonetics. That is language clinic. So whatever the English language teachers are doing, whatever the phonics and diction teachers are doing, all other teachers are complementing the effort, and the students stand the chance of hearing correct English language being spoken by all the teachers in the school. Some schools even go to the extent of doing creative writing, maybe once in a term, for their teachers. Write essay. Because essay is very powerful. When you write essay, it shows a lot about you, your spelling, your intelligence, your mechanical accuracy, your ability to drive content, your inspiration. A lot is in essay writing. That's why in all our recruitment exercises, we always say, let them write essay. Essay writing speaks volume about a teacher. And finally, the idea number 6 is reward. And your reward can be based on 3 categories. Number 1, cumulative points reward. You remember cumulative point that we mentioned during assessment. After you have done the cumulative, out of 900, because it's 300 they carry for each month, they carry 900 into the term. Whoever scores the highest is given an award. Maybe you have even told them that if those who score between 800 and 900 cumulative, that cumulative has taken care of all the 20 items in teaching, all the 10 items in records, all the 20 items in attributes for month 1, month 2, month 3. Any teacher who scores 800 and above is actually a hardworking and productive teacher for that term. So let them know what they are going to get and be faithful to it. You will see the next time how everybody will be rushing. Many a times I see the way we give out fantastic gifts to teachers, and I say, based on what? You don't just give something because someone has spent so number of years. Give it out because he has been productive. That is how you will encourage productivity. Plot of land is good, but on what basis? On the basis of long service, which is okay, because we must reward that as well, but we must also begin to reward productivity as well. Number 2 is target-based reward. We give the target. You remember the target? Okay, if you prepare students for WAEC, and for so number of A1, you have 5,000 naira. No examination malpractice in this school. So start. You see how teachers begin to work hard to make the lives of this better, and for them to also get their reward, because they know the number of distinctions they produce will determine what they will get. No reward for B2, no reward for B3. We are only giving financial reward for A1. Give us a student that has A1, and this is what you get. And the last category of reward is categorized reward. If we say that only best teachers will be rewarded, it may become some teachers may become permanent landlord of some rewards. So let's democratize the award system, and now say that we want to have the best teacher, teacher with the best lesson note, a student note, teacher with the best attendance register, teacher with the best evaluation technique, teacher with the best what do I want to say now? Teacher with the best instructional materials in the class, and so on and so forth. So at least we have like 10 award categories, so that when we are giving out the awards, it is not domiciled with only one person. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the 6 ideas we put together when we started with this school. And today, this school is one of the leading international schools in Nigeria. Don't forget, they are able to save 5 years of teachers' retention. And after that, some of them eventually went for their masters still in that school. And many of them have been promoted to even management team by now. It is not by magic. There is a component of prayer to drive success. There is a component of knowledge to drive success. I know that for so many years you have been complaining, your teachers are not productive, your teachers are not being retained, and you have been very, very worried. But you have been doing the same thing the same way, and that's why you keep getting the same result. Can you go back to your school after this masterclass session and work on these 6 ideas, start training, and then you can actually go through all the 7 levels of training that we mentioned. You can make use of our CTTC training platform. It will really, really help you. Number 2, go back to assess your teachers and follow all the categories of assessment up to cumulative point assessment, and you will see the wonder. And then begin to set targets for your teachers, timely targets, monthly targets, weekly targets. And then you also begin to preview. Let them begin start teaching preview in your school, timely preview, and then weekly preview. And number 5, start language clinic so that you will be sure of uniformity, of correctness in the use of language in your school. And number 6, bring in reward. Teachers are like elastic rubbers. The productivity you get from the teachers is a function of your capacity building and quality assurance efforts. If you put in enough capacity building programs and quality assurance programs, you will see teachers operating at their optimum best. If you don't stretch the teachers, their best length will not be determined. It will not be their fault, it will be your fault. It is on this note we have come to the end of this session. Overcoming the challenge of teachers' productivity and retention. I'm sure you have gained 1 or 2 things, but gaining it here is not the ultimate. Going back to your school to implement these ideas will be the ultimate. Again, my name is Adebare Egunjobi. Nice having you here. Thank you and God bless you. Bye.